Hi everyone, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name's Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak in the Bag show for Tuesday, October 9th, Tuesday morning. Of course, we do the show twice a day, 12 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Yesterday was an interesting day, Jimmy the Bag. Of course, I'm off to a great start in NHL, 2-0. We are going to throw up the... Hey, do you have the NHL record up there, by the way? And Jimmy the Bag actually swept the board in NHL as well.
3-0, I know it's going to turn around for me.
Do you got the NHL record back there by any chance? I just want to show this. The show's only been going on for 20 seconds. Immediately, I want to show it. I'm up a plus 183% ROI, which is possible if you have picking dogs. Look at that. I'm up 4 units already. And Jimmy the Bag, look at that. With all of your horrible start, I mean, you're almost even now. Whoa, why did it come down so fast? Bro. Bro.
It's okay. We're working out some king. Oh, there we're back.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Look at that shit. I'm up 4 units, and Jimmy the Bag, as we said, we saw last year when you take those big underdogs, huge, not big underdogs, huge, because you don't even do -1s. You do 1.5. So you're talking about some major volatility that you're going to see there. And in fact, with your losses, there were a bunch of games that were they won by 1. You would have gotten a push if you had taken -1.
I'm totally,
okay with it.
I mean, taking a ton of heat. Negativity for my early NHL hockey record. I feel like my read is absolutely fine. I've got 4 puck lines I'm all over today.
Really?
And went 3-0 yesterday, and that'll be positive units in no time.
All right, so Jimmy the Bag, once again, yes, I nailed the Islanders yesterday, but there's no way in hell I would have been on that game if I hadn't been listening to what Jimmy was saying when he was breaking it down, right? So I mean, I'm not bullshitting you, Jimmy the Bag, when I say that my awesome NHL record last year was about 2/3 due to you.
You know what?
It's true.
I'm very honored, very thankful, and I expect us to crush it. Last year we ended up just under 60 units up. I want us to be 100 this year.
Also, huge shout out to everyone who had the Saints yesterday. Jimmy the Bag did not. I'm not like a hater, but we got to be honest.
That was a terrible week of NFL for me. Just awful week. Hopefully, I can regroup on the Audible today, 4 p.m. Eastern. But I just got absolutely crushed. Smith was terrible. Those were all garbage time stats. And Breeze just did anything he wanted.
Yep.
And, there was that Kerrigan sack early when it was 13-6, I believe. And there was a penalty on the safety with the aggressive contact after the play. And at that point, I was like, look at Kerrigan play. Look, these Redskins can stay in this game. And then just everything fell apart.
Yes, and guess what I did last night, Jimmy the Bag?
What's
Huge shout out to Ralph Portuando. Ralph Portuando said that he liked the under in the Golden State game, right? Now, I did bet that one, but for a while it was looking like it was soaring way over, and I hit 2 or 3 units, 3 units live betting the under. So the pregame under that I bet just cash, the live bets that I made all cash. So I actually had a big day. I should just stick to Monday. You know what I'm saying? I should just be a Monday capper. People like, Pete, what do you handicap? Like NFL, MLB, this, that? No, I handicap Mondays. That's what I do. Monday cappers.
Just
you know what I
Monday
mean?
only, yeah.
I had another big winning day yesterday, and I was You got to be very careful with live betting because the juice is bigger, right? The place where I was betting live betting, it's the spread is 40 cents. But if that doesn't necessarily mean that there can't be value with those lines, it just means it's harder to have value. And I started pounding at the end of that game in the fourth quarter. I did like 2 or 3 live bets on the under, and I didn't think the full game would cash, but that one did cash. And so live betting you have to be very careful with live betting because the juice is much higher, and that will burn you fast if you don't know what you're doing. On the other hand, the value, it's hard for the market to adjust radically, and you can find edges. And I live bet the under in the Golden State game yesterday. And I think that I'm going to be doing a little bit more live betting when it comes to everything this season in general.
Well, and you can do that on King's Court because they're killing it there. And Ralph Portuando is just a machine when it comes to totals. So shout out to Ralph.
Shout out to Ralph Portuando. If it hadn't been for Ralph Portuando, I wouldn't even have been thinking about the under in that game. Wherever you may be, Ralph Portuando, shout out. And Angel Romero also tipped us to a bunch of soccer plays, which I also hit. I had Seattle in MLS. Beautiful. So I had a big winning day yesterday, and only 1 or 2 picks were my own handicapping. You know what I'm saying? And in fact, a couple of my handicapping picks lost the MLB second halves. But yeah. All right.
Let's see what people are saying. Ralph Rogers now with Ingram back. Watch out for that offense. Tom Marino, I hit with the Saints. Saints got all the calls in that game. NFL definitely wanted Breeze to win on his record-breaking night. Even if they didn't get the calls, I think they were going to smash this team. Bill Butler, blessings to all. Shout out to King's Court that put me on Magic plus 3.5 in-game and on the Saints minus 5.5 last minute before the game with his family info in Louisiana. Vegas Gun joining us. And then Kobe here saying, Kobe said, remember when I called Saints 44-17 Almost called it. I knew Saints would show up.
Yes,
and
listen.
Kingu told you guys about the Saints to cover Breeze would have a big game. You guys.
Yes, huge shout out. And there were people who said that they liked the first half under, and I didn't like that. You know what I mean? And it was a combination of all the comments. You know what I'm saying? It was a combination of all the comments. King Rail saying that the Saints wanted to embarrass them. I was like, if they want to embarrass them, they're not going to wait to the second half. And it certainly turned out to be the case. So this is what this show is. And in my personal gambling life, I had a huge Monday yesterday. It was like 80% due to other people's comments and also my ability to read those comments and to figure out what's going on. Oh, there, Ralph Portuando. Ralph Portuando, just tuning in, guys. Looking forward to another great show. Ralph Portuando, I tailed you on the under yesterday, which just cashed, but I had your advice in my mind when I live bet the under at like one was at 237. I got another one at 245, and they all cashed. And it was because of my thoughts of what you were saying in my head, Ralph Portuando. I was expecting the full game under to lose, but it cashed. Shout out to you, Ralph Portuando. Special personal shout out to you, Ralph Portu.
Yes.
Motherfucking Rondo.
Kobe Valentine coming in. 2 of Kobe Valentine's 4 plays I'm on as well. Kobe's on Winnipeg -1.5, Nashville -1.5. I'm on both those plays. He's also on Colorado moneyline, Philadelphia moneyline, and I'm fading that Colorado spot. Now, I'm making my bet as if Gabriel Landeskog will not be in the lineup, and we'll see late. But Philadelphia moneyline, the Philadelphia-San Jose game is a tough spot.
Okay, now here, let's talk about live betting a little bit more, right? Sure. Intertops has great live betting, right? Are we still doing the Intertops promo? Or yes, Intertops has great live betting, and obviously live betting is the wave of the future. So this is okay to talk about betting theory and the event. Okay, so Brant Hunt, here you goes. Damn, Pete, you used to bust my balls when I used to talk about the success I have live betting NBA. Where is it? You called it cracked out numerous times. Yes. Live betting is the crack of sports betting, which doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means you need to know the perils of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you shouldn't do crack. I'm saying you should understand what you're getting into when you do it,
when
right?
you do get that,
you know what I'm saying?
Crack pipe.
Yes, exactly. So
and that hot crack pipe in your pocket,
right,
not comfortable.
Exactly.
Not comfortable at all.
So if you're going to do crack, you're not doing 10 rocks every day for months on end. No. You're doing it once in a while with a whore here, and whatever your process is. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing applies to live betting. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying be aware of the treachery. There's 2 issues. There's 2 main issues to be aware of with live betting. I'm telling you right now. First of all, is the juice. It definitely matters, right? Now let's say, like Heritage, for example, has 40-cent lines on live betting. Regular lines are 20-cent lines. Now when you're just looking at it, you're thinking, all right, so I have to take -120 instead of -110. On any individual bet, obviously that's not as big of a deal. That's not that big of a deal. But over, any kind of big sample size, 50 bets, 100 bets, it's a huge deal. Doesn't mean there's not value there, but you just have to be aware of it. The second thing that you have to be aware of is making too many live bets that are all correlated, right? So if you're hitting, the under and then you're hitting the under again, you're hitting the under again like I did last night, those are all obviously almost perfectly correlated bets. So it's easy when you're doing live betting to wind up way over betting your edges and having too much money based on, riding on one outcome. Whereas like for a pregame line, maybe you'll see a bet that you like and then you bet it again, then you bet it again. But it's not likely that you're going to sit there pregame and bet something like 8 or 10 times, but with live betting, that can happen. So those are the 2 things you need to be aware of, and those are very, very treacherous. But the flip side is that it's hard for the market to adjust quickly, of course, because the line changes so quickly. So there can be big edges, and I did do it last night with the Golden State game. I'm just saying, be aware of what the pitfalls are and what you're getting into. Was that a nice little...
It was really nice. Yes. Unfortunately, most guys on our chat are not supporters of crack. So and that'll happen. And we understand that completely. Jared Schrader says, Blue Jackets is my trust me play for tonight. I'm on the Blue Jackets as well, but I look forward to breaking that game down. I'm not as confident as Jared Schrader, but hearing Jared Schrader's confidence does make me feel good about the situation. But
great comment, Brant Hunt. Great for calling me out, because absolutely I did used to say that, and I still say it, that live betting is the crack of sports betting, and great that he remembered that, and great that he asked me to explain and called me out and everything, right, Jim?
Yeah, no, I love Brant Hunt, and when NBA is in full stride, we're gonna have a bunch of great experts, and he's one of them. Jay Bird said, started watching you guys guys a few weeks ago, and I haven't missed a show yet.
There you go.
Appreciate all the advice and insight. You guys kill it. Keep up the good work.
Shout out to you, Jaybird. All right, so yeah, I mean, discipline is the most important thing. That would be the biggest discipline move of all for me to restrict my betting only to Mondays. I had a big Monday yesterday. Today, of course, we have a lot of interesting stuff on the card. Earl, already to start the show, someone said that Appalachian State is free money. Who is that? I can understand that argument. There you go.
Bunch of people are saying
Trenton Claxton says Appalachian State is free money tonight. I can certainly understand why people would say that. I have not bet this game yet, but as the line climbs, I'm thinking more and more about taking Arkansas State. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I mean, Appalachian State is the real deal for the Sun Belt. They are no joke. They are the Alabama of the Sun Belt, right?
No doubt.
Those 57-7 wins over South Alabama are not flukes, right? Appalachian State really is that good. They've always been that good, and this might be the best Appalachian State team ever. The OT game against Penn State was not a fluke, and it's an interesting matchup, but we will talk about that game a little bit later. Arkansas State is also a strong team, so this would be like Alabama going up against, I don't know, who's be a comparable team in the SEC to Appalachian State? I don't know,
you mean Arkansas State?
Yeah, Arkansas State.
Yeah. Who
Georgia, is that no? But Georgia, maybe a step down from Georgia. I don't know, but we will talk about that one in a bit. Let me see. All right, I guess we have to stick to the schedule. So let's start with MLB. Jimmy the Bag yesterday was interesting. Of course, the Red Sox as a huge underdog. People were saying the line's telling you who's going to win. No, it didn't. No, it wasn't. The Red Sox crushed them as a huge underdog. I did bet the Red Sox, actually, and it was a lean, but I didn't give it as an official pick. I had the second half under, which did lose, and now we have Porcello against Sabathia, and I don't know what to think here, really. I think I might just pass on this one. What do you think, Jim?
I'm uncomfortable with the side, but I am interested in the over, but would like to hear what everybody has to say. Game time 73. Fahrenheit, wind blowing sideways. But out sideways, barely out to left field. Porcello, bad postseason numbers.
Yes.
He had a good year. It wasn't solid all the way through. There were some hiccups. But 17-7, 4.28 ERA, 1.18 whip. Big bounce back spot for him. 190 Ks and 191 in the third innings. I love seeing these guys have these bounce back seasons. Postseason, though, 0-3 with a 5.33 ERA in 12 appearances. 0-1 with a 7 ERA in 4 postseason outings with the Red Sox. But he had the Yankees number during the regular season. And we talked about another guy who had the Yankees number during the regular season, Eovaldi. And that transferred right over to the playoffs. Will Porcello be able to transfer that right over? Lefties 241, righties 240. I mean, he's good with getting both sides of the plate out. Sabathia 9-7, 3.65 ERA, 1.31 whip. He's a better pitcher off the bottle. See, Sabathia makes his 23rd postseason start. 10-6, 4.20 ERA. Always has pitched well in the ALDS. 11 appearances, 6-0, 3.32 ERA. Since signing with the Yankees in 09, 8-3, 3.26 ERA. Lefties don't hit him. Righties hit him pretty well. 264, 732 OPS. And both teams hit 250 against the opposing side. So Yankees against righties, Red Sox against lefties. But Yankees have a lot more power against righties than the Red Sox do against lefties.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem, at first glance, to have over the relatively modest total written all over it. If this was a regular season game, no question I would be on the over here, right? Both Sabathia and Porcello look relatively vulnerable. What are we going to get from CeCe? What are we going to get from CeCe is the big question. Boston hits lefties very well, don't they?
Not really. They smash righties.
Oh, smash righties.
They
That's right.
don't
That's
hit
right.
lefties with much power. 250 with a 719 OPS off lefties.
That's right. I forgot about that. I'm an expert in sports betting.
But I think the over is appealing.
It is appealing, right?
It's still appealing to me, even though it's a playoff spot. Raul Portuondo, please don't laugh. Now, when you're going to back a play, you don't want it to hear please don't laugh as the opening. But he says the what the hell play of the day, Yankees over 9, open at -120. Now even with a slight shade to the over at -113.
Yeah, it's. Look, or maybe stick with the first half over because I'm not sure if I want to fade these bullpens. The first half over is 5, or maybe just take a shot with the Boston first half team total over, which is just 2. The big question is, what are we going to get from CeCe? I mean, he's a crafty veteran. He knows how to. I do kind of trust CeCe here. It's just that the Boston lineup, even though it might not be, you'd rank the Yankees lineup as significantly better right now than Boston, or not?
No, you just can't. Clearly, I would have leaned to that direction last year. It's just that JD and Mookie are just too strong at all times. And Brewski 311 says JD smashes lefties. We know that's what he's known for. Well, he's just a hell of a batter. But in saying all that, it's hard to say. Now, with the Red Sox going up against a lefty and the Yankees going up against a righty, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Yankees have a more dangerous offense.
Yeah. But CC, I'm looking at this. All right, CC's last start was against Tampa Bay. He's very well rested. He pitched well in that one. I got to be thinking, though, that Boston on the first 5 team total over is worth a shot. I mean, is CC cooked or does he have one more gem? Big playoff game here in that arm of his.
He's rested.
He is rested.
He's rested. Dave LA says this will stay under, guys. I took under 9.
Mm-hmm.
Raul Portwando over Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
All right, you know what? I'm doing okay. I'm not doing quite as well as I did last year. Last year I wound up MLB plus 2% ROI on the year. This year I'm more like around 1.4% ROI, which is still okay. But I will take a shot with Boston first 5 team total over. It's just 2. Boston first 5 team total over 2 minus 115 at Heritage. If CC has a lights out game, which is entirely possible, I'll have to eat a loss there. But the lineup is that good for Boston, isn't it? I mean, it's good. It is good.
It's good. And Tomar says, talks about this Pierce pickup. I mean, yeah, he can hit lefties, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear what you guys say. Susanna says, funny how one day changes people's perspective. Everyone yesterday was high on the Yankees. Now today, high on Red Sox. I'm not high on the Red Sox in this actual spot. It's just dangerous.
Right. I'm more just high on the Red Sox to hit Sabathia a little, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, definitely. Anytime I hate betting, a team total over right after a team has put up 16 runs. It's like, what, 16 runs over again? But sometimes that does happen. You know what I'm saying? This might be a mistake here, but I'll make it an official pick. Boston first 5 team total over 2 minus 115, and who knows? Maybe this will be up at 2.5 by the evening, and I'll take it back.
Jaquan Foster likes it. Says fade CC.
Yeah, I don't.
Glenn Elliott Mando says CC plus the sauce. King knew about business says be careful, Pete.
I know. It makes me very nervous. Scotty Rock forever. Red Sox have the better bats. You just have that lineup. You just have CC who could, I do trust him, but he's a little bit, in
all honesty, I think that he's capable of having a good. I'm saying 5 innings, 2 runs.
Yeah.
5 in the third, 2 runs. He's off the bottle, and he's. You can tell over the last year and a half that he's believes in himself. He wants to come back next year.
Yeah.
What better way of doing that than have a good start? Saying all that, I'm very concerned.
Yeah. And Neil Frank says, Peter, you're a big Yankees fan, or do you just wear that hat? And Neil Frank, no. Not only do I not care about the Yankees, I don't care about any team. Not only do I not care about any team, I don't care about anything. So no, I'm just wearing the hat, right?
Quality Latte says you look crispy today.
Oh, thank you very much. Latte. King Baby about business says, be careful. Yes, you're right. It is, it's at 2.5, I wouldn't do it. But it's, all right, let's see. Other comments coming in. Says, Eric Swiatek says, people should listen to @Gin Rummy, and he says, yesterday slight value was Red Sox. Yes.
Ryan Smith joining us. Class canceled. Means I get to tune in. Been a while, fellas.
All right. Gin Rummy has Yanks fair line at this game minus 138. Good luck, Red Sox takers. Yeah, I mean, I would be leaning Yankees on the full game in general. That's the problem here. Slight lean to the over as well. All right, I'm going to start with the Red Sox first half team total over, and maybe I'll throw on a little hedge with the Yankees -1 as well. I do kind of like the Yankees for a big bounce back win today. I think Porcello's vulnerable as well, and maybe the first 5 over at 5 might be worth a shot as well. The Yankees' first 5 team total is 2.5, so I'm not sure if I want to take that. But I'm definitely leaning Yankees as well on the full game. So maybe Yankees on the second half at plus 100 is also a way I'm thinking. Of course, it's an evening game. We'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time where we'll review it all over again. But that's it for me for that game. What do you want to do on this one, if anything, Jim?
I'm going to hold off.
Okay.
I'm going to hold off. I'm going to watch the market.
Moves, yes.
But I am leaning towards the over, and I have a slight lean towards the Yankees, but don't know if that makes any sense.
I mean, the Yankees -1 would be a small dog line, so that's something I'm thinking about doing. I definitely feel like there's volatility here, right? I feel like whichever team wins it probably wins it by a couple of runs, 3 or 4 or 5 runs. So I'm definitely thinking about the Yankees, and maybe the Yankees on the full game team total, which is 4.5. The first 5 is 2.5, but the full game is 4.5. That's kind of tempting, right?
Anthony McRae, Yankees 19-5 on Tuesdays. Yankees super run line. Yankees still win this series. Mark my words.
I mean, that doesn't strike me as a terrible comment right there. Yeah, I'm thinking about taking the Yankees team total over at 4.5 and also taking the Yankees -1.
And shout out to Kingu. He was on the Red Sox when many people were on the Yankees yesterday.
Oh, no, I was on the Red Sox. I just didn't have the balls to give him. But I did bet him, just because I couldn't pass up the big line. And I actually took him at +1, but okay.
Anthony L saying Porcello either pitches a gem or gives up 6 runs.
Yes, I agree.
Right.
I think he gets it. This Yanks lineup is pretty damn fearsome right now.
Darryl Lyles, Yankees 4-0 in elimination game.
Yeah.
Kobe Valentine, last night's game is too short of a turnaround for Yanks to bounce back after a stomping. All the young players, not enough vets to get their heads in the game. They will look sluggish today.
Really?
Not applicable. Fade Yankees.
They will look sluggish, even though it's the playoffs.
J Stasher, Yankees will be demolished tonight.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna take some time.
Okay.
I'm gonna take some time, man.
The Yankees get demolished tonight. All right. So do you want to jump to this? Do you want to jump out of order to the college football game and then go to NHL, or do you want to go to NHL? Maybe we could just quickly touch on college football. How about that?
Whatever you'd prefer.
Yeah, let's quickly jump to college football right now. Of course, the huge game tonight. It's a huge Sun Belt game. I understand why everyone is thinking that Appalachian State is free money. Appalachian State is legit awesome. It's up from 7.5 to 10, although I saw 10.5 earlier this morning, and I'm not seeing any 10.5s right now. Here's the thing. The thing is that Arkansas State, I think they've underachieved a little bit. You know what I mean? Arkansas State's, I think that Appalachian State's awesome performance so far is the real Appalachian State, but I don't think that Arkansas State's subpar performance so far this year is the real Arkansas State. They got a great quarterback for the Sun Belt. They've got a receiving core that should be good. Their big issue is just that they're not really built for short yardage situations, which is why they've had problems in the red zone, and that also is obviously a big strength of Appalachian State. Appalachian State has probably the best defense that they've had in recent years. I can't remember a better defense for Appalachian State. So Arkansas State's struggles in a short field are probably going to be real here. I'm just thinking that this is more likely than not to be a closer game than expected, and maybe leaning under as well, even though both these offenses can be very explosive. I like Arkansas State's defense. I think Arkansas State's defense has underachieved a little bit as well. So I'd be thinking about the under, and I'd be thinking about Arkansas State here. But
Mr. Gokes, they're under full game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not applicable. Trenton Claxton. Arkansas State cannot stop the run, Peter.
Right. Yes, so far. Right.
Darryl Lyles, though, leaning over 60. Anthony L, 10-point road favorites where the line falls into exactly what the most power ratings say the line should be, and people are calling it free money. Ryan Smith, under. Raul Rogers, just one word. Disgusting.
What's he talking about?
No idea.
Shout out to Anthony L. Great to see you in the comments section. 10-point road favorite where the line falls into exactly where most power ratings say the line should be, and people are calling it free money. Here's what I think it is. This I think I can answer that for you, Anthony L. Like I said, I made the comparison. I said that Appalachian State is like the mid-major version of Alabama. And a lot of times you see this with Alabama. When do you fade Alabama? When they're like a 45-point favorite, as I did against Louisiana Lafayette, right? That one cashed. When do you bet on Alabama? When they're like a 24-point road favorite against a decent SEC team like Tennessee, and you're like, damn, the power rankings say that Alabama should be, a 24-point favorite, and they are a 24-point favorite, but it's those kinds of games where their class really shows, and they do wind up covering, and I feel that Appalachian State has that, for the Sun Belt, has that kind of aura about them, right? That they're that kind of team. Alabama is a team that I'm willing to bet as a huge road favorite as opposed to most other teams. And it's because, that's when they pull out all the stops. And definitely Appalachian State, at least in theory, is going to pull out all the stops for this game. This is a huge game, right?
It's a huge game. Andrew Klein says isolate value. Appalachian State over 35 team total. Maybe that is the smartest way to handle it. What does Arkansas State have going for them? And the only real, check mark is they have a great quarterback.
Oh, they have a great receiving core. They have weapons on offense too. They've underachieved a little bit, I think. Problem is they also have issues on the offensive line. The offensive line has not been good, and the quarterback has been pressured. The question really, obviously on paper, it's Appalachian State or nothing. The question is, do we want to time an improvement from Arkansas State here?
Yes, and Travis Eaton is doing just that. Says, what up, guys? Cashed yesterday, Pete, on Astros money line, second half over, and Islanders.
Oh, nice.
I'm on Arkansas State plus 10 and outright win.
Yeah. I will tell you that my lean on this one was 10. I did see 10.5s earlier this morning, which I'm not seeing right now. Jesse Dykstra says, if App State can score 38 points at Penn State, don't you think? Yes, obviously. Jesse Dykstra says, take Appalachian State team total over. It's a little bit treacherous, similar to MMA in college football, to see like a team like Appalachian State or any mid-major team have a surprisingly good game against Washington State or something like that, and then be like, well, if they could beat Washington State and they're only a 4-point favorite here against Akron, obviously I'm going to take them. Those things are in play, and again, I don't think that game against Penn State was a fluke, but.
Jesse Dykstra, if Appalachian State can score 38 points at Penn State,
yes, that's the comment.
Don't you think they can score 35?
Yes, that's what I was just addressing. Right
Sorry.
there. Give me the back. Eric Swiatek, we all know what they did in the Penn State game, but Appalachian State has not been tested after that. I agree. I'm thinking Arkansas State here plus the points. Arkansas State here plus the points. Anthony L says Bama first half spreads are actually free money. Yes. And I tend to take overs. I had the over in that Louisiana-Lafayette game in the first half, and I had Louisiana-Lafayette plus the points at 49, which cashed. And Darrell Lyle says last time they played, Arkansas State won, which is true. They were an underdog, and they won outright. So I'm thinking I am leaning Arkansas State right now. I think I'm going to wait a little bit, but I'm definitely leaning Arkansas State. And John Roy says, what did I tell people yesterday? The public loves the dogs on Tuesday and Wednesday night football games. Can't figure out why.
Melee Palace Way thinking that Appalachian State first half only.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas State usually starts slow. Can see them getting a backdoor cover.
Yeah. All right. So anything?
I'm not going to make a move on this game yet.
Ryan Smith says South Alabama has been atrocious first half of the season. Will set up for good value for their easier second half schedule. Yes. Ryan Smith, I completely agree. In the beginning of the season, I think I even mentioned it at the IFBC, wearing the IFBC shirt here. I was thinking that South Alabama might be a decent play in spots. I did not say I liked them against Appalachian State, and I didn't bet that one. But I agree with you, Ryan Smith. I'm vaguely looking for South Alabama to maybe have some value, or more than a little bit than some value, in the second half of the season. Completely agree with you, Ryan Smith. All right. What else do you have? Give me the bag for us.
Nothing. Nothing. I'm going to take a little bit more time.
Yes.
With this spot.
DT Doug says, where's this hype for Appalachian State coming from? Because they hung with Penn State? No, not just because they've hung with Penn State, because they've been an awesome Sun Belt program for a long time, and this version of Appalachian State is arguably the best in recent history, especially on defense. The big question coming into this season is, would the quarterback be able to replace Tyler Lamb? And so far, the answer to that is yes, definitely. So that's why. It's legitimate, DT Doug's. Andrew Klein likes the Appalachian State team total over.
And he likes the first half team total over.
Mm-hmm.
Darrell Lyles, Arkansas State has failed to cover its past 5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big, big, big game. Jay Gark, liking the under in the baseball game, also thinks Porcello is underrated.
Yes. Yeah, Trenton Claxton, Arkansas State cannot stop the run, Peter. Yes, so far, definitely. And obviously, that is what Appalachian State does extremely well and extremely often. All right. Theodore McIntosh says Appalachian State margin of cover 19.5 points. All right, so I am leaning Arkansas State, but I'm going to hold off on an official pick on this one. Jimmy the Bag, any final thoughts? And then we'll move on to your favorite sport, NHL.
My favorite sport is the horses.
Oh, right, okay.
But I love NHL very, very much, and I can't wait for the Breeders' Cup. It's 3 weeks away.
That's amazing. The horse was also, it wasn't, like I said, I don't give a shit about sports, but that was the first thing I started to get interested betting on. In fact, in high school, everyone was like, that was the only thing that I handicapped.
Oh, it's magic.
Yeah.
Being at the track is absolutely magic, and the Breeders' Cup coming up is such a great opportunity for big scores.
Mm-hmm.
The pick 4s are multi-million-dollar pots, and then even the pick 3s are multi-million-dollar pots, and then it's always there's 15 to 1s and 50 to 1s, and also the European horses on Bet365 get bet too heavy for the Canadians or people who can use Bet365 because it's the Americans aren't betting it. So you can find such value on the American horses on Bet365. You can have a horse at 17, 15 to 1 at the track, get them at 45 to 1 on Bet365.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what's known as arbitrage. All right, Jimmy the Bag, let's move on to an NHL. How about that?
I would love to.
All right, let's move on to NHL. I also want to do something symbolic here, Jimmy the Bag. At some point in my life, I don't remember when the hell this happened, but I wound up in possession of this. Do you know what this is?
I do.
This is a Canadian $5 bill. Now, I don't know how the hell I ever came up with this one, but I found it going through my stuff, and I would like to symbolically give this to you, Jimmy the Bag, because you are going to return to Canada at some point, right?
Wow,
that is a real
look at
legitimate
that.
Canadian bill of money. I'm giving it to Jimmy the Bag partially as symbolic thanks for all his help with that I have benefited from in the NHL, and partially as a token of good luck, goodwill, and good vibes for the upcoming NHL season. Jimmy the Bag.
And they are playing hockey on the back of this $5 bill.
Don't they do that on every $5 bill?
Not
oh,
on
really?
every $5 bill.
Right,
yes.
right, okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yes. On the 5. And that's Sir Wilfrid Laurier there, right there. I'm
So
on
there
it.
you go. All right.
And I will stick this to my computer
So
for the
there
rest
you
of the
go.
season.
I just wanted to. Yeah, that's now you're thinking. Now you're doing the appropriate things
stick this
for
to my
what the
computer for the
universe. You should,
Marco
and you should
Lou
put
says,
that on
Jimmy, do not take it. I see drug residue.
All right, so I don't know where the hell I got that one, but I did get it, and wow, Mr. Gokser says that's an oldie, Peter, but still good. Is that not a current version of the $5 bill?
We've changed our bills.
Is
to
that
make
true?
Them, yeah, we've made them a little less. You can make these fake pretty easy. So
really?
We've done some things to change that. But yeah.
All right, yeah, I think you should put that on the back of your
I will.
computer just for the entire NHL season.
I will.
All right, let's get into it. Once again, my current NHL record, I am up about 4 units, ROI of plus 183%. Not sustainable, but I'm happy to have done that. Jimmy the Bag, despite his bad start, is coming off a sweep of the board, and if he, as we've seen this last year, if he has a couple of big winning days with these big puck lines that he takes, that will start stacking units in a hurry. We've got 6 games tonight. What are you liking, Jim? What are you thinking about?
I'll tell you what I'm on first.
Okay.
First off, I'm on the Blue Jackets minus 1.5. It's Grubauer versus Bobrovsky. I've seen Grubauer not step up in situations like this. I don't find him mentally very tough. That's the reason why the Capitals got rid of him and kept Holtby, and Grubauer had every chance to take over the starting spot, and he's just not been able to do that. Now, Bobrovsky has not looked great. Grubauer making his season debut. Both teams are dealing with new injuries. The biggest one, though, is to the Avalanche. Jake Gark saying Blue Jackets have some key injuries, so the Avalanche looks good tonight. There is no more key injury. I mean, I guess we know that Seth Jones is hurt. So that's a huge injury. But for the new injuries, Gabriel Landeskog, the captain, is dealing with a lower body injury. He was seen in the X-ray room. It's not clear if he'll play tonight, although I don't expect him to play. Bednar has moved Matt Calvert, and that's a move that coaches do. Matt Calvert was a Blue Jacket last year. They moved Matt Calvert up to Landeskog's first line with Rantanen and McKinnon, and that's a huge, huge step down. The Avalanche also lost Patrick Nemeth. He sat out Saturday. He's been practicing in a non-contact jersey. He may be cleared for contact today, but this is an Avalanche team that doesn't have a ton of depth. Jay Gark saying, really, Jimmy, Blue Jackets? Yes, I'm backing the Blue Jackets here, and I will do that at home, even with Seth Jones' injury. I listened to a Zach Werenski interview. He's so upset with how we played last night. Also, let's go into the Brandon Dubinsky injury. So the Blue Jackets lose Brandon Dubinsky, who's a very important third line center, but they've got depth at forward, something that that Colorado does not have. So Dubinsky now out for 6 weeks. And he's won 68.8% of his faceoffs. Listen, he's a quality guy, but they've moved Riley Nash up to that third line center. That third line is good. Josh Anderson, Boone Jenner, Riley Nash, and Sedlak is going to come in and replace Nash on the fourth line. You know what? I can understand people backing the Avalanche, and I've got them for their season win total over 86.5. They started out 2-0 at home. Now they're going on the road for the first time. And I am on the Jackets minus 1.5.
See, I was thinking about the under here. I know that you don't like Grubauer, but I was thinking about the under here. What's your take on Columbus right now under Tortorella? What kind of a strategy do they play? Defense-oriented or what?
Yes, but without Seth Jones in the lineup and Werenski hating the way he's playing, which I expect him to step up, it's touch and go.
All right, so what's your play on this one?
Jackets minus 1.5.
Oh, shit, really? Minus 1.5. All right, so the least we can do is line shop for you. We can give you plus 200 at the Greek and Bookmaker and a few other places. Line shopping is so important, even just on this one where there's not a big difference in the lines still, ranging from 190 to 200, and long-term, that does make a big difference.
Gate Pass Key says, like the Avs' first line to totally dominate. Do you like that first line to totally dominate if it's Calvert, Rantanen, and McKinnon? I'd love to hear what Gate Pass Key has to say about that. I guess he's saying he expects. And Jay Gark says, sorry, I'm fading you. Hey, do you think, Jay Gark, find the edges where you find them, and if you believe in this Avalanche team, I understand why you would. They start out the year 2-0, but the reason why McKinnon's a big boy, but the reason why McKinnon and Rantanen have room on the ice is because Landeskog is the defensive responsible player on that line. He does so much that you don't see on the score sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if Landeskog is in the lineup, have a lot of confidence here. Kobe Valentine saying Colorado is 38-18-1 versus Columbus in last 57. Listen, the Jackets at home can be a valuable spot. And I think it's a valuable spot here because the Avalanche have started out the year 2-0. Now they're going to play without their cap.
But you don't like the under, huh?
It's not that I don't trust Grubauer.
Mm-hmm.
What is the total? What is that right now?
6. At 5.5, I wouldn't be taking it. But
Anytime you can get a Blue Jackets under at 6, it's a good move.
Why?
Just because they're a defensive-oriented team.
Right.
They're a system-based team. And now that Panarin for Sayad trade was incredible for them.
And why don't you like Grubauer?
I just don't think he's mentally tough. And this is his first game in this new uniform. And I think he's susceptible in these big spots.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. I'm processing it all. What else do you like here, Jimmy the Bag? Well, let me tell you. Let's move to the LA-Winnipeg game, right?
Sure.
Because you gave that one yesterday, didn't you? And you took plus 151 on the minus 1.5 line. And now, it's almost exactly where it was.
I do expect when Jack Campbell is locked in for the start, that the line will move further in the Jets' favor.
Now, I hit this one on the overnight line. I took the over at 5.5. It's now up to 6. What do you think about the over on this one, Jim?
I like it. I like it, but Hellebuck is going to be excellent this year. I just feel like he's the kind of kid who wasn't a huge prospect coming up, and he's earned everything he's got. I really think that there's no reason why Hellebuck at home can be very dangerous. Now, I like the play. The Jets gave up 77 shots on goal for their first 2 games. That's unacceptable.
Right.
Paul Maurice has said that's unacceptable. The Jets also surrendered 3 power play goals to the Stars. They took 5 minor penalties. This is the type of stuff that Maurice will be like, this can't happen. This can't happen. We have to stop this right now. And I expect them to play tighter. But if you look at what's happened the last 2 games, you have every right to do this. Now, the Kings know that they can't get into a firefight with these Jets. They have to play tight defensive hockey, and that's my only concern about the total. Udon pointed rat in the fact, he says Kings under 6. And I think it's dangerous, but in all honesty, I would lean towards the under here. I just feel like Maurice is going to demand responsibility in this first home start, and the Kings know they can't take penalties, they can't allow odd man rushes. But Gate Pasquis says Jets will have to get 4 or 5 goals for the game to go over, which could very well happen. So, and I agree with that breakdown, Gate Pasquis.
All right, so let's talk about the next game. Another game that I hit on the over, Toronto and Dallas. I got it at 6. Now it's up to 6.5, so I beat the line move. I know that Ben Bishop has been great for Dallas, but Toronto has a super powerful offense, don't they?
They do. But they've played 3 of the worst teams in the league and barely beaten them and lost to one of them. I'm on the Stars minus 1.5 here. The Leafs have showed me very little so far, except that they can score. We already know that they can score. Look at who they opened the season with a 3-2 overtime win over Montreal. They barely beat Montreal. Then they lose to who could be the worst team in the league in the Senators. Then they barely beat a Blackhawks team that we think is now. We all know that the Blackhawks are going to have some value at home this year. They're not going to be that easy. Tavares, 4 goals, 0 assists so far. He's going to be a beast. The Stars have looked incredible. Yes, they beat up on an Arizona team that I think is going to be very weak. I told everybody that when everybody said team total over for Phoenix, I'm like, no, especially early with their 2 centermen, second and third line centermen hurt. I think Arizona's a fade early. But Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, and Alexander Radulov, they're healthy. They've scored 6 of their 8 goals for the Dallas Stars. Remember, that was the reason why I said they wouldn't make the playoffs last year. They're too top-heavy, but they're healthy right now. They have a new coach in Jim Montgomery, and that's the big difference. Hitchcock is a defensive coach.
Right.
He keeps Ben and Seguin, 2 guys who are flighty guys who just want to enjoy and score goals. He kept them very tight defensively, and that's not the way they want to play. Now, Nishushkin might play his first game. I always had high hopes for him. Then he went to the KHL for 2 years. He was disappointing. I drafted him in a hockey pool 1 year, believing that he could be a guy who could play on that line with Seguin and Ben. They need him desperately to get some offense because it's not going to come from Spezza. In saying all that, they beat the Jets 5-1 at home. They've outscored their opposition 8-1. I find the Stars with a ton of value here. One reason why I'm also not taking, I know that the Stars have Ben and Seguin and Radulov offensive guys, but I think the Maple Leafs are going to win most of their shootout. I think they're going to win a lot of their overtime games with their offensive firepower. So I have no problem when I'm against the Leafs to take minus 1.5s all day because I fear them in overtime and shootouts very, very much. So I'm on Stars -1.5 for a big score.
Okay, we're going to give you plus 230 on that one, plus 230 on that one. And what is your take on Ben Bishop right now? Is he an elite goalie, or is he going to come crashing back down to earth?
He's a good goalie.
Right.
He's just a good goalie. You know, he covers so much of the net. You know, he's a big, big boy. And he's a good goalie, and this team needed Hitchcock out of the way. And they've got a young coach who believes in this group. And Ant-Man D says, who's the resident KHL capper to follow? That is R2D2 Finland. It's his name on Twitter. And I did retweet it a little while ago, but he's doing incredible work. Also, Al Mack. Al Mack does incredible work with the KHL.
So you don't love Toronto this year?
You know what? When they figure out what they're going to do with William Nylander, that will help. When they pick up a stud defenseman. But no, I think we're going to have so much value fading the Leafs all year. Tons of value nonstop.
Value fading the Leafs all year.
Yeah.
Value fading the Leafs all year.
I think there's going to be a ton of value. Now, when they get a stud defensive defenseman, when they get Nylander, I just think that everybody's going to be on the Leafs. We know that. We know everybody and their mom is on the Leafs, and it's just a nice opportunity. Another political says Leafs are deadly in OT. That's another thing. When you fade the Leafs, go on the puck line against them. Take -1.5 for giant scores. I'm going to be doing that often. And if their first 3 games were any example, they're not a very good. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to win the cup this year.
Right.
You know, they need to make a couple changes. They have some incredible players. Tavares and Austin Matthews, come on, they have some incredible players. In saying all that, I think there's going to be enormous value fading them, and I'm going to do it often.
All right, I'm taking Dallas -1, Jimmy the Bag. I'm going on you with when I was listening. The money line is -125. That's the current line at Pinnacle. The puck line, which you are taking, is plus 230. So that's a decent little underdog line there for Dallas -1. I'm going to join you on that one. Dallas -1.
Jay Gart clearly is not listening to anything I'm saying because he says I have to fade the bag again. Dallas is the ticket.
No. Okay.
So,
listening is fundamental. Listening is fundamental. All right. So, and what do you think about? I was thinking about the over, but maybe Toronto will really have a hard time scoring on Bishop here. I mean, he's been great so far.
Well, I mean, you just don't want to get in these 7-6 games with the Leafs. They have too much forward depth.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying the over isn't a play, and at 6, you got on it right. For me, I'm much more comfortable with just taking the Stars to take care of business.
All right.
Here.
I'm leaning first period over as well, though it's up there at -143. All right, let's move on. Vancouver against Carolina. How about that game, Jimmy the Bag? Vancouver, Carolina, that's an interesting game. My thoughts on this one, let me just refresh my line here. My thoughts is that yeah, I mean, Carolina is obviously playing an offensive explosion kind of game right now, right? And I was thinking maybe the over 6 is an obvious play here as well.
It might be. I do not trust Mrazek at all. You know, we talk about Porcello being a guy who either doesn't allow a run or allows 6. Mrazek is that type of goaltender.
Right.
He either allows 6 goals or posts back-to-back shutouts. You know, he's a mess. He's a guy that I don't want. And Darling had that great preseason. It's too bad that Darling got hurt to start off the year. Markstrom is another goalie. I mean, God.
But I'm seeing McElhinney confirmed.
Are you seeing McElhinney confirmed?
Yes.
Oh, well, that would concern me.
Right.
Let me really on what
site? Confirmed, Jim.
On what site?
Daily Faceoff.
Okay, wow, that's great. That will help anybody backing the Hurricanes. I trust McElhinney over Mrazek every step of the way.
And it would make you like the over less.
It would.
Yes.
And I'm not on the total.
Right.
But watching these Canucks play, now Hurricanes are a little different. Yeah, they're moving Svechchenko all over the place. At first we thought he was going to be on the second line. Now he's on the fourth line, but he's on the first power play line. Glenn Elliott Mann's on Canucks Canes over 5.5 at -130. I totally get that. Now, Rod Brind'Amour is a great character guy, and I think he's going to be a great coach. And they have Jordan Staal as their second line center. When you have Jordan Staal playing 25 minutes a game, he's a big guy. He's defensively responsible. He wins faceoffs. It makes it easier for all these kids to play. Sebastian Aho is the real deal. I think this team can be dangerous. Rod Brind'Amour is talking about how much fun it is watching this team grow. They have 5 points through the first 3 games. They've only done that once since the relocation to North Carolina over 20 years ago. Now, they were exposed by the Rangers. These guys now, and I went over their depth chart heavy on defense this morning, and you know it's stronger than it looked. I'm not a Dougie Hamilton fan, but it is a stronger than it looks. Not applicable says Vancouver crap on the road. Listen, Vancouver's just crap, And when you want value from them, you'll get that on the road. And we had some huge scores with them last year. Vancouver lost 7-4. The Hurricanes win 8-5. But don't let that completely take over, because I trust McElhinney way more than Mrazek, and thank you for letting us know that. And we were talking about Markstrom. So Markstrom, remember, he was won the goaltender of the year in the AHL. And often those guys become great goalies in the NHL. Markstrom hasn't done that, but our brain trust still believes in him. We would have got rid of him. We still believe he could turn that over to a great career in the NHL. Vitalis says, I am showing major sharp money on the Canucks at plus 170. Listen, with that first road trip they had last year, we cashed off of them. We saw value, and so I can understand why people are doing it. Now, Vancouver, just like the Jets, are giving up too many shots, 35 and 37 shots. Now, Elias Pettersson has taken our city by storm. 7th rookie in the NHL since 1991 to get 5 points in the first 2 games. No Canuck player had goals in each of his first 2 games since Rick Lands in 1980. You can see why we're so excited about him. Glenn Elliott Mann says Carolina 4-2. Personally, I feel there's too much volatility. If Mrazek would have been confirmed, I might have taken the Canucks. I might have taken the over. I'm just concerned with this spot, and I'm laying off of it at this point.
Okay, why don't you like the over again?
McElhinney
is better, yeah.
Is better than Mrazek. And the Canucks know they can't keep playing the way they've been playing.
Yeah.
If you take a look at the Hurricanes offense and the Flames offense, the Flames to me has a more dangerous offense, but the Flames are supposed to be more defensively responsible. Anybody taking the over, I'm not against that play at all. At all. But remember when the Hurricanes played the Islanders in game 1? That was a game I was like, look at these goalies. Now it was Mrazek versus Greiss. Like, these goalies are bums. This game could go way, way over, and it was a 2-1 game. I'm not entirely sure what these teams are going to give us moving forward.
Okay, all right. We'll get to some comments, and then we'll move on. Makeup by Jen says, "Hey guys, can you please shout out my makeup page? My boyfriend watches this show. Absolutely,
sure.
Makeup by. Hey, if you're in the market for makeup, and you should be, it's 2018. Guys can wear makeup. Look what Green Day did with it. Look what David Bowie did with it. It's not just for women anymore. Makeup by Jen is where you want to go. I might start wearing some eyeliner on this show.
Doesn't sound like
you know
a
what
bad
I'm saying?
idea.
Remember when Benji wore it on the Howard Stern show? He looked awesome. He got slammed for it. I thought he looked awesome. I might come in here one day with eyeliner and a man bun, and maybe I'll consult Makeup by Jen for some makeup tips. Makeup by Jen for all your makeup informational needs. Shout out to Makeup by Jen and her boyfriend. Other comments are Eric Swiatek saying that Toronto won't have trouble scoring on anyone, even Detroit and Ben Bishop, huh?
Dallas and Ben Bishop.
Sorry,
I'm not sitting here thinking Dallas is this defensive juggernaut. Even though I just think that at home, like they were last, they can just be very, very tough to play against. Right? You get last line change. You're able to create situations where you can get Ben and Seguin and Radulov up against tired units, there's no question the Leafs are going to be able to score against anyone. I agree.
Okay, so then you would like the over there then?
At 6.5, I don't know.
Yeah.
You just can't get in that kind of a game against the Leafs. They're just going to keep coming at you.
All right, you know what? I am going to take the first period over. I took the full game over at 6. It's now up to 6.5. I might double up, but I'm going to take the first period over. Toronto, Dallas, first period over, 1.5 minus 143. That's a high line. Do you think that's a mistake? I'm just worried. I mean, Bishop, I guess I have too much of a tiny sample size bias thinking that Bishop is now, an elite goalie that no one can score on. But Toronto can score on him, right?
Toronto can score on anybody.
Toronto can score on anybody.
It was a good point.
Yes.
But Bishop, big boy, and he's capable of getting hot. Now, he's had injury problems all of last year. He's a guy that the Lightning didn't think could be the backbone of their team.
Yeah.
Whether or not he can be, and I like Ross Adamus says home teams 4-0 yesterday. I'm liking mostly home teams again today. I'm on 4 home team puck lines.
And Oscar Sanchez says, even at 6.5, the over will cash. All right, I'd love to get to more comments, but we got more games to get to. Jimmy the Bag, what do you want to talk about now? How about San Jose, Philadelphia? San Jose coming off of the loss to the Islanders. Do they bounce back here? Maybe.
Sorry, just looking at Makeup by Jen. Retro Stars girl right there. Love it.
There you go.
Let's get to the Islanders spot. Sorry, where is it here? Sorry, what was that?
And I'm going to check out the page myself after. Makeup is very important. When we used to have a little bit of a different situation here, I used to wear foundation, It's important. I loved it. Only natural stuff. No, none of that bullshit tested on animals, right? Makeup by Jen, you know what I'm talking about. Cruelty-free makeup. That's all about. All right, let's move
As
on.
it should be.
And she says, that was amazing, Pete. I know how to please the ladies. I know how to speak their language.
Oh, it doesn't
You know what
surprise
I'm
me,
saying?
no.
Shout out to you, Makeup by Jen, and shout out to your boyfriend who scored big time with having you as his girlfriend. All right, let's see. Anthony L likes the Flyers minus 115.
Yeah, I feel like this game is another difficult game.
Reef
to
NYC
figure out.
says, stop talking, Pete. Okay.
Van Riemsdyk will be out 5 to 6 weeks with a lower body injury. That doesn't really affect their top two lines, although that second line for the Flyers has not been scoring. Lindblom, Patrick, and Konechny have not been scoring, but Giroux, Couturier, Voracek are monsters. And that third line was dangerous. Now, Jordan Wheel will be replacing Van Riemsdyk on the third line. He'll be with Vorobyev and Wayne Simmons. You know, this forward line has a ton of depth, and JVR is a forward team. This Flyers team has a ton of depth in forward. JVR is a power play specialist, sets up in front of the net, but they have Wayne Simmons who can do that, so it won't hurt them that much. They look good. 5-2 win over the Vegas Golden Knights, and they lost by that same score to the Avalanche. Sharks were shut out by the Islanders yesterday. Are they going to come back firing? I feel like this game is a difficult game to figure out. Now, I told you what I'm going to do with the Sharks. As soon as their power play starts rolling, I'm going to jump all over them. 0-4 again yesterday. 0-10 through 3 games. Terrible in the preseason. DeBoer says that they got 9 shots on goal with the man advantage. That's encouraging. And also the Joe Thornton injury is just an infection. It's not something that looks like it's going to be long term. Martin Jones will get the start again. He's not looked good. This is a tough game. This is a tough game. I would like to back the Flyers here. I'm just nervous doing that after the Sharks look so terrible.
See, I was thinking that the Sharks are the play here. What's your take on the Islanders right now? I mean, on the Flyers right now.
The Flyers are going to be a very good team, even with the loss of JVR.
Right.
The Flyers are going to be a very good team. The question for both these teams right now is goaltending.
I was thinking about the under, but you don't like the under here at all.
Hit the like button, says Philly game in the under.
Yeah, I was thinking under.
The way the Sharks are playing right now, you'd like, because DeBoer is a very, he's got strict defensive rules that his team applies, and he's a good coach. And they're not scoring on the power play, so anytime you're dealing with a team that's supposed to have number one power play and they're not scoring on the power play, you have to lean on.
So why don't you like the under? Because you don't like Jones?
I don't like the way Jones is playing. No, I think everyone's hating all over Jones. But I think he'll be fine. I don't know if he'll be fine early, and if he's worrying about things. He's got an .859 save percentage, and I don't think Elliott should be the guy in net for the Flyers. So Tomar says Flyers power plays look strong. It has looked strong, but will it be as strong without JVR? Probably not, even though they do have guys who can fulfill his position.
Now, what do you think? Okay. All right, let's move on. Jimmy the Bag. Nashville and Calgary. This is another one where I believe I was leaning under. Let me just refresh my memory. Yes, I was thinking about under here. What do you think? Is Renee as great as ever?
Renee is as great as ever. Now, we remember Mohamed Joma and different guys not believing in Renee, and they were right. Some push game to shove against the Jets. But I believe in Renee. I still think he's the guy. Saros may end up, Predators started the season by sweeping a 2-game road trip, and it actually looks better than. I know the Rangers and Islanders are weak squads, but it's tough to start the year on the road. And 3-2, 4-3. Calgary split the home-and-home series with Vancouver and looked bad doing it. Remember, I have the Calgary Flames future plays. They look bad. They lost 5-2 on Wednesday night. Then won 7-4. Mike Smith is not off to a good start. Everybody said that Smith was going to be, a lot of us expected him to be better than he was last year, but he's not looked good. And not having Travis Hamonic, who's dealing with a facial fracture, hurts the Flames' defense. I think the Predators come out flying in their home opener. I'm on the Predators minus 1.5.
Oh, really? Okay, let's find the best line for you. Line shopping here at SBR Odds, and they revamped the old new SBR Odds much better now.
That's great.
The navigation is much easier now. You can of course customize your book order, which I have definitely done, and that is great. So let's easily line shop for you. So you're on, what are you on again here?
And Barcelona saying Flames are 6-1 in the last 7 meetings in Nashville. Road team is 5-1 in the last 6 meetings. Yes, we saw that a lot last year. And I'm not going to back the Predators, unconditionally at home. I just feel like the Flames didn't show us very much. And the Predators, it's going to be crazy in the Bridgestone. I believe Bridgestone. It's going to be crazy, and the Predators are just. I think they're going to roll. I think they're going to play very well tonight.
All right, we can give you 180 for Nashville -1.5. And I was thinking about a shot with the under. What about maybe Calgary team total under at 2.5? What's Calgary's offense like? Right. See, this is God. I feel so. Jimmy the Bag. I'm telling you, man. I'm to do something special with that because that is very symbolic there. I'm just listening. This is helping me so much. What's your take on Calgary's offense right now?
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, I love Elias and Lindholm. Love the additions they've made. Matthew Tkachuk is an absolute monster, and I get so upset when I see how incredible he is because the Canucks could have picked him. We had to pick before the Flames, and we picked Yoel Levy, who's in Albany right now doing squat. They have depth. I trust this offense very much, but we can tell that Hamonic is not in the lineup. Their defense does not look good, and the under I'd be worried about because we know that the Predators are going to put up goals.
Sure.
And the only thing the Flames can do is score, is fight fire with fire and become offensive. So I'd be concerned. Let's see, right here, I believe Glenn Elliott Mann was saying that he is on Nashville in the over. A lot of guys on Nashville here, not applicable. Scotty Rock forever. Glenn Elliott Mann, Nashville -1 at +106. Nashville -1.5 at +180. I really think that the Flames, when they get Hamonic back, he's a huge piece to this defensive team. And they're just, the Flames looked really bad in those 2 games against Vancouver. Vancouver's going to be real bad this year. Don't get those first 2 games. They're going to be right in the running for that number 1 overall pick. And the Flames, they were as good as the Flames. So it's a bad sign for Flames backers early.
All right, I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do today, Jimmy the Bag? I'm going to watch the show again. I'm going to review all the comments on the hockey games, and then I'm going to copy and paste them. I'm going to ask you specifically about the comments and see what you have to say. That's going to come in the afternoon show. As of right now, Jimmy the Bag has given Colorado puck line, Dallas puck line, Nashville puck line, and yesterday on the opening line, he took the Winnipeg puck line. I am just taking Dallas -1 and the Toronto-Dallas first period over 1.5 -143 for now. But we'll look at all the line moves for these games. We will. That's what we can look forward to in the evening show. I'm going to highlight specific comments and specific opinions on all these games and revisit them, bring them up again, and ask you to address them in the evening show. What do you think about that, Jim?
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's go back, just quickly touch on this Predators team again. This first line of Arvidsson, Johansson, and Forsberg, I don't know if there's a better line of hockey, and they're not that good offensively. It's that they're all so big and fast and tough. How are the Flames going to deal with that? If this was a 7-game series, I would think the Predators smash the Flames. They just don't have that. Now, James Neal will help them with some toughness and some confidence. But Monahan is a great young centerman whom I love, and Goodrow can put the puck in the net. But in saying all that, this Predators first line is so tough and dangerous, and this arena is going to be rocking.
Anthony L. likes Nashville -1 as well. The only issue here for you is so you don't trust Mike Smith, although he's unconfirmed, and the only issue is just that Calgary might have an offensive explosion.
No, not an offensive explosion, but their only chance is to outscore the Predators. If it's a low-scoring, tight-checking game, I think they lose 3-1 or something like that. I feel like the Flames need to score. They need to get on the power play. They need to be offensive because Goodrow is the best offensive player in this game. Arvidsson has looked very good to start the year with some beautiful plays, but Goodrow is the best offensive player in the game. When you have the best player in the game, you have a chance to win as a dog. I can understand people taking the Flames. They get on the power play. You get Johnny Hockey rolling. They can do good things. I just think the Predators' home opener, it's just going to be a madhouse.
And how is Rene? Rene is obviously an awesome veteran, psychologically and mentally. Is he the guy who's going to come for it? Because some of these goaltenders come up, and in a big game like that, it's like you're going to get the top performance, and then some people fade in the big games. Last year, some people were suggesting that Rene would be vulnerable in the playoffs, and they were right.
They were right.
And so, what do we expect from him here?
I think he's going to roll early in the season. He's a great veteran goalie, and I really believe in him. I was backing him even in that series against the Jets when everybody was right, fading him. So I am a guy that I believe in. Scotty Rock has a question. Says, I meant to ask you yesterday, at a Canadian Thanksgiving, do Canadians eat turkey like America? Yes. Just like Americans, we eat turkey. And I think I mentioned it before that we have our Thanksgiving in October and not November like you guys because there's nothing to be thankful for in Canada in November.
Brooke Jordan, St. Pete, have you had your prune juice today?
Have
LOL.
You?
I don't know what that means. Yeah, yes, of course. This is what's always in this cup. All right, I am on the border of tailing you on Nashville here. Anthony L likes Nashville -1. I'm just a little bit concerned about the line, but again, we'll go over all this at 6 o'clock Eastern time. I still have lots of opportunities to make decisions and add on to my official plays. I'm on Dallas -1, Toronto, Dallas first period over. Jim's on Colorado, Dallas, Nashville, and Winnipeg puck lines. All right.
Yeah, I think I'm in a great spot. I would prefer, and I'll be doing a lot more, I would prefer to be in a situation where I could take, dogs at huge plus lines, but their home openers here that I'm backing, the Jets home opener, the Predators home opener.
Yeah.
Come on. One of these, either the Predators or the Jets in their home opener smash. And team total overs might be a play that we want to make, and I'm going to think about that.
Natalie Alvarez says, Jimmy is awesome, but misused you, Pete.
Missed.
No way?
Missed.
Seriously?
He said missed. He was a spelling mistake.
No, if he meant to say missed, he would have typed missed.
He did.
He typed misused.
But then he typed missed.
Right. Oh, I got you. Okay, phew. Reef NYC says, Jimmy, I love the Audible, but how do you feel capping games with a guy that doesn't bet? Put Pete on the Audible. I'll be on anytime you want, baby.
Yeah?
I'll sit next to you. I'll go to a different camera in a different room anytime you want, baby.
Beautiful.
I loved subbing in. It made me focus in on that week, and I had a great week that week in NFL. I'm planning on this afternoon and tonight breaking down all the new lines that are out for NFL. All right, that's it for NHL. We will be back at 6 o'clock, and we will definitely be digging into the NHL once again, all over again. Let's quickly now get to NFL. You have any thoughts on opening lines in NFL, Jim?
Well, I do. Jake Ark, best of luck, my friend. Thinks I'm making a big mistake on the Blue Jackets. And, when a team's missing their best defenseman, I can understand that. If Landeskog is in the lineup, I'll be worried. If Landeskog is not in the lineup, I'll be very confident. And we'll meet back here tomorrow. And good luck, Jake Ark. Kyle Jack saying, so far, Buffalo, best MAC play. Not quite locked in yet.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. I mean, they're a big favorite there, but I would definitely be thinking that way as well. I'm just not sure if I want to lay that many points. Kyle Jack, yes, we're going to talk about college football a lot more later on this week. Let's see what Irate Trostar says. Best sports show on YouTube is so real. Shout out to Irate Trostar.
Brant Hunt is on the Panthers, Chiefs, Patriots over. Chiefs, Patriots over. That's a very high total. What was your first instinct when you saw how high that total was? Opened at 58, now there's 59.
I didn't look at any of the opening lines with NFL yet, because once again, it was only a day ago that I was like in my own world, out of commission, not looking at anything. Now all of a sudden I'm up 4 units in NHL out of nowhere, back in business, wired on prune juice. Yeah, but I'm going to look at NFL tonight and hopefully for the 6 o'clock show have some opinions and thoughts.
Torrance says, I think there's good value in the NFL this week. Good, because I got destroyed last week. Pittsburgh's defense is horrible. They shouldn't be such small underdogs off a blowout of an injured Atlanta team. Well, let's look at the biggest line moves so far. First off, the Vikings have gone down a point after the Cardinals showing this weekend. There was -11. Now it's 10.5s and 10s. The Chargers-Browns opened up at a pick'em. Now the Chargers have become slight favorites on the road. The Bears-Dolphins... Dolphins -3 is rolling into play. We had a lot of people liking that spot yesterday, and I can understand that. Panthers, Redskins. Redskins looked so bad last week. Do they bounce back against a Panthers team whose defense looked like they had tons of holes? Buccaneers at Falcons. Total opened at 57.5. I don't know what to do with this play, but both these huge high totals. Let me tell you this. First off, Buccaneers at Falcons with a 57.5, and Chiefs at Patriots now at 59. I'm leaning under on both of them.
All right. Well, Jimmy the Bag, you are going to be doing the Audible today, and so you'll have a lot more information and thoughts for the 6 o'clock show after you do the Audible. I guess before we wrap this up, let's quickly go and revisit college football.
Sure.
Again, I am thinking I'm going to have an opportunity to make an official pick in the evening show. I am thinking that Arkansas State might be the play here as a big home underdog. Obviously, they have a lot of question marks here, which is why they're a big home underdog. They can't stop the run so far this year, yes, and that is what Appalachian State does so well. Arkansas State has serious problems in the red zone, in short yardage situations, which is what Appalachian State also stuffs and stops so well. But there's also, I think, a lot of untapped potential with Arkansas State. I think they've underachieved a little bit. I could see a 14-point loss and lose. If this was 14, I would definitely take Arkansas State. At 10, I don't know. I'd rather be getting 10.5. We'll look into this one a little bit more and think about it later on. But as of right now, I'm thinking about the under and thinking about Arkansas State. Shout out to Angel Romero. I saw your picks yesterday in soccer. I didn't tail the Fluminense one because I missed it, but I did tail Seattle. And I cashed on that one.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Angel Romero. All right, what else do we have going on?
Kyle Jack will be giving us his MAC plays
Yes.
and NCAA
Yes.
football plays. He's a huge asset. Scotty Rock Forever saying thoughts on KC New England. Back to this NFL spot. I do feel like the only way the Patriots can stay in this game is if they keep the Chiefs off the field. We've seen Belichick be able to utilize that at times. I'm definitely leaning under 59, and I will have more to say after the audible for sure, but definitely leaning. And the Chiefs' defense has started to step up. Brent Hunt says Belichick can't scheme up good enough shit to stop that Mahomes kid. Possible. Colmore says Pats will give Mahomes many different looks. Jacksonville is a good defense, but very simple.
Scotty Rock Forever says Showtime beats New England. Write that shit down, Pete. Okay, I am copying and pasting that one. We're going to have a good time at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. You want to wrap this up?
I do want to wrap this up.
All right.
Check us out on the Audible, 4 p.m. Eastern. I've been doing a conference call after this to break down all these games with a couple cappers, which I'm very excited about. We'll have a lot of plays soon. And I got destroyed last week in the NFL, so I need to come back hard. And I'm looking forward to our late show.
Absolutely. We'll be at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks, everyone.